So, Pandaman taking me DATACO, I make one the response specifically lo me, name me, na make one the response lo me. So, sorry, holiday na make a boy. Please don't mind me. So I did a detailed response. Na, by me making part one, part two, number so kind of same. So, essentially, by me reading some of the rebuttal points below, and then by me making one the little talk against all points below. Please continue to share and like. I may put in pressure lo data ko. Put in pressure lo one institution or like stop me look at accessibility to cheap, reliable, and fast internet services in Papua New Guinea. So let's get down to it. What DATACO says, their rebuttal against what I said, and my clarification on that. So let's go. In the first point, DATACO Kiramna talk. Fiber remains the globally preferred wholesale transmission technology, delivering higher speeds, ultra low latency, and superior security. Fiber. Ako to sem. Na saben lo all talk against him Starlink as a satellite provider. Na me talk, of course, no one is arguing this moot point. Fiber is supposed to deliver high speed, reliable, low latency, inexpensive internet. Shouldn't the outcome of you borrowing and spending 879 million kina to construct a broadband network result in high speed, affordable, dependable, inexpensive, low latency data? Why is the opposite true in PNG? They're basically stating a point without providing a relevant answer to the substance of the complaint. What did you do with the money? Did you actually did a job, or why the hell are we still experiencing unreliable, expensive, I don't know, low latency? The video conflates wholesale transmission with retail access. DATACO enables affordable retail services through mobile operators and ISP. Starlink itself relies on fiber for backhaul for global connectivity. Starlink targets premium residential, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Starlink, let me clarify, is accessible directly through low Earth orbiting satellites. It does not concern itself with retail versus wholesale. It's just corporate tech speak without saying anything, to be honest. DATACO is the wholesaler. Its pricing determines and directly determines the retail price. The claim that DATACO enables affordable retail service through mobile operators is simply overstating the truth. PNG still has amongst the highest internet costs in the world. A simple Google search and a check on the International Telecommunication Union or ITU rankings will confirm that. Putting aside speed and reliability, of course. Starlink relies on fiber, and that's true. But they rely on Australian fiber and Australian ground stations, not the unreliable Kumul submarine cable network. Starlink has pursued aggressively mass market affordability, especially in countries in Africa. So places like Kenya, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe, they made Starlink, and even Starlink is cheaper than local ISPs in those countries. Yet, they determined that Starlink should stay because it offers a cheap internet and a net benefit to their economy. So why not us? So for us, let the PNG consumers choose which service they prefer. Instead of chest beating, give us a choice. Another one, DATACO says, DATACO is mandated to provide national wholesale fiber infrastructure, which has transformed PNG's connectivity landscape. Today, retail mobile data rates are comparable to markets like Australia, thanks to it's comparable to Australia, they say. I disagree. It's still not comparable to market rates in Australia. The information cited is publicly available, so you plug out Google, you better go research and verify that data and compare the rates and see for yourself. However, I want to draw a critical distinction. The figures being championed here by DATACO pertains to retail mobile data rates, not fixed broadband rates. These are two different services and markets. It's acknowledged that mobile data rates have decreased and have remained relatively stable over the past 3 years. And this is well documented. Read PNG development blogs, and there was a study that tracked internet prices from 2016 onwards. But what they said in those studies is that the reduction in mobile rates has been driven primarily by competition, notably the entry of Vodafone into the retail market, rather than any structural improvements in wholesale infrastructure costs. Sorry, car kam going. But, putting aside all those fancy talk, it does not change anything for ordinary Papua New Guineans and the reality for us. We continue to have some of the most expensive and unreliable internet services in the world, particularly when it comes to fixed broadband. And fixed broadband is precisely the domain for which DATACO, as the wholesale infrastructure provider, is responsible for. They are mandated to build and operate an affordable, reliable fiber broadband infrastructure. So the question that we all consumers should ask is, are DATACO's broadband rates affordable when compared to comparable rates and markets such as Australia? I will bet you it's not. I mean, to be honest, the majority of consumers of Papua New Guineans would be like, what broadband? Do we even have broadbands? Now, DATACO get up na talk. DATACO is not a party to and is not involved in the current court proceedings on Starlink licensing between NICTA and the Ombudsman Commission. We value satellite as a complementary technology and are open to partnership with Starlink and other LEO operators provided they are appropriately licensed by NICTA. True, and I clarified it in my other video. But someone, somewhere, who stands directly to be affected by Starlink's entry into the market, they went and complained to the Ombudsman Commission, which acted on that complaint and issued a notice to NICTA, which is now the subject of court proceedings. Someone, somewhere, I don't know. Do you know? Anyone knows? Please put their names in the comment section. The underlying point of my social media post is that if DATACO had used the 879 million kina loan lo Exim Bank and just built a comprehensive fiber optic broadband network, particularly in urban areas. Now, urban areas must be laid about, businesses in those areas, like in Port Moresby and Ley, would not need Starlink. Plenty businesses, to be honest, NICTA, DATACO, all using Starlink because the current broadband unreliable. So in a proper free market, the consumers, we would have a choice. As the sole data wholesaler, DATACO is the primary beneficiary of Starlink's exclusion from the market. Inclusion will affect you, exclusion would benefit DATACO. That's it. Perhaps DATACO could comment and issue a public statement regarding their stance on Starlink ground stations in PNG. I think that should be a more pertinent and relevant issue that we should discuss. Starlink ground stations. Starlink ground station is located in Australia and they use Australian fiber optic cables. But if Starlink, and that's what I think DATACO wants, DATACO says they want Starlink to use the CST cable via a local landing station, DATACO, because they're the gateway monopoly, they will apply their wholesale rates to their service infrastructure. This would artificially, in my view, inflate Starlink's prices in PNG, making it significantly more expensive than what our neighboring countries get charged in the Starlink if they force Starlink to use the ground station here. CS2 na Kumut Submarine Cable Network dollar. So it's about revenue. They want Starlink to use the ground station here, so because they are the primary you shall not pass Sauron manning the gates kind of thing, they would get the money from it. So claiming that Starlink is a complementary service is a contradiction of market reality. DATACO, as the sole owner of CS2 na KSCN, they stand to lose the most from a provider that can bypass their ground-based infrastructure, and their ground-based infrastructure is inadequate. It's evident that the demand for local gateway is less about partnership and more about maintaining a monopoly-controlled bottleneck. It comes through one point controlled by DATACO of international data. But turning back to my point, we would not need Starlink if you had used that money and done a proper broadband network. I'll do a part 2 with the rest of their rebuttals and my response in another video. Sorry, time does not allow. Thank you.